Hey everybody, it's John here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today, back in the Final Fantasy X HD Remaster, finally finishing up our Perseverance guide and tackling the big guy. This is going to cover the boss fight against Penance. Before we get started, we are going to get the prep work out of the way. Obviously, we are sticking to our same team of Titus, Waka, Riku, sticking with their celestial weapons, however, we are changing up their armors. So instead of reusing the armors that we had for the Monster Arena / the Dark Aeons, we are going to change it up and make sure we spec out armors with these abilities. Auto Potion, Auto Haste, Auto Protect, and Defense plus 20. You want that for all three of your party characters, and I'll leave a little chart on how to unlock them right here. After that, we are going to set our overdrive mode. You want to make sure you set everyone to Comrade. Overdrives are going to be a big part of the fight, and obviously you want the best means of grabbing more overdrives. Also, start out the fight with everyone's overdrive bars full. Then what you want to do is you also want to put Auron in your starting party and make sure he has a weapon with first strike. His celestial weapon will suffice for this requirement. This will allow you to pretty much control the first turn of the battle. And then finally, the last step of our prep work is to make sure our items are in line. So you want to go to the nearest shop, and what you want to do is you want to make sure you buy 99 potions and 99 high potions. Very important. And as for our mixing and utility items, you want to make sure you have Gambler's Spirit, Stamina Tonics, Healing Springs, Lunar Currents, 3 stars, and Purifying Salts. I recommend having about a handful of each, so you don't really need that many. However, it's good to have backups. And then any other backup items would include X Potions, Mega Potions, Turbo Ethers, Mega Elixirs, Phoenix Downs, and Mega Phoenixes. Now, with all that prep work out of the way, it's time to get ready for the fight. So make sure you make a save, and then make sure you talk to Cid. You'll notice once you have unlocked Penance after defeating all of the Dark Aeons, it will appear as a new location on your map. So make sure you fast travel over to it, and that should start up the fight right away. The fight itself is going to be on the longer side. Even with max stats, this fight can take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, so make sure you definitely have a free amount of time on your hands. Other than that, strategy-wise, it's going to be pretty formulaic. If you follow these steps exactly how I have laid out, you should be able to walk away with the win A-OK. And with that being said, it is time to get this party started. So, opening move of this chess match is going to be ours, thanks to Auron's first strike ability. As soon as you get your turn, make sure you switch him out for Riku, and you want to open up with our classic overdrive. So use an overdrive and use mix, and the things you want to mix are going to be 2 Gambler Spirits for our first mix. This is going to give us trio of 9. What this ability allows us to do is every time we use any type of potion, it is going to heal us 9,999, and this is going to apply to any potions used by the auto potion ability. From there, we are going to stick to our quick hit pinata strategy. However, with Penance, the thing is you want to make sure you target his arms before you start working on his body. And the reason for that is his arms are going to do the more significant amount of damage to us if left unattended. One of his arms is going to consistently cast Mega Graviton, which, if you remember from the previous Dark Aeon fights, is going to mess us up, especially since we don't have Shell nor Ribbon at the moment. And his other arm is going to cast Petrification as well as Shatter, which, once again, since we don't have Ribbon nor Stoneproof anymore, since we've replaced them for Defense plus 20, is going to eject one of our characters from the fight, which will obviously leave us at a significant handicap. So make sure you take out those arms before they can get an attack in. Pay very close attention to the attack rotation in the upper right, as with any Final Fantasy X fight. You definitely want to make sure you take them out before they can take you out. When it comes to the body, at this stage in the fight, whenever it gets an attack on its turn, it's going to use Obliteration, which is going to damage the whole team. Now, thanks to our armor abilities, Defense plus 20, as well as Auto Protect, we should be able to survive this, and because we get put in a critical state, Auto Potion is also going to kick in, and thanks to Trio of 9, a potion should fully heal us. And what this means is we are allowed to pick ourselves up without wasting a turn after every one of his attacks. Once we get back into our attack rotation, since his attacks should have done a significant amount of damage, we should have built up a significant amount of overdrives, and we can now use our overdrives to finish off the arms. So with that in mind, you always want to use your overdrives towards the end of your attack rotation. The reason for that is you want to avoid the massive delay it comes with every overdrive. So try your best to use Blitz Ace and attack reels, and try your best to pass the little QTEs that come along with them. The reason for that is you want to do as much damage to the arms as possible, and you especially want to take it out before it gets an attack, because if any of the arms do manage to get an attack in, that's going to leave us at a serious disadvantage if they do get pulled off. So a few tips in mind is each one of the arms is going to take exactly 6 hits in order to take out, and they will regenerate after a certain time period. So you want to make sure you keep track on how many hits you are doing to each of the arms. Alright, now that the first set of arms is taken care of and we have gone to Riku's second full overdrive bar, we are going to use another mix here. We are going to mix a Gambler Spirit with a Stamina Tonic. This is going to give us Eccentric, which is going to double our overdrive efficiency. And the reason we want this is every time Penance uses one of his attacks, we want to make sure it fills up everyone's overdrive bars, so we always have an overdrive handy to use once the arms come back. So Penance is going to hit Obliteration, and we should barely survive it thanks to all of our abilities, but thanks to Auto Potion and Trio of 9, we should pick ourselves back up. Also, thanks to Eccentric, we should now have full overdrive bars on everyone. So once we get back into our attack rotation, what we're going to do is we're going to use our Quick Hit Pinata strategy on Penance's body, and this is going to be our main factor in attacking him, and we're going to do that until the arms come back. Once the arms come back, you want to make sure you turn your attention towards attacking them. So switch up your Quick Hit Pinata strategy and make sure you start hitting them. At the end of this current attack rotation, you want to start throwing out your overdrives. So make sure you use your overdrives with Waka and Titus, and then with Riku, this should be her third mix overdrive. This time, what you want to do is you want to make sure you mix for an Ultra Null All. You have to have Ultra Null All up before you start the second half of the fight, so you might as well get it out as early as possible, and I recommend this being the third most important mix item. So you want to mix 2 Healing Springs together, and that should throw up Ultra Null All, which is going to give us Null All, but more importantly, it's going to give us 5 times all of the status boosting conditions. And the reason you want that is you need 5 times cheer before you start the second half of the fight. Once you have that out of the way, it's time to get back to dealing with the arms. Remember to make sure you use your Quick Hit Pinata strategy whenever you can, and to only use overdrives when it's advantageous to you in the attack rotation. Make sure you're keeping your eyes out on that attack rotation. Make sure you're not wasting your overdrives on an arm that's about to die, because you are wasting attack turns doing that, because the overdrives are going to cause serious delay. Only use overdrives when you are certain it's going to do a significant amount of damage. Don't be too worried about Penance's attack. As always, we are saved thanks to a combination of Auto Protect, Defense plus 20, Auto Potion, and Trio of 9. As long as we have potions in our inventory, we should be more than safe, and we should be able to survive this for quite a while. So just keep working on our attacks, and you are pretty much making sure you're baiting him into using Obliteration, because that's the thing keeping our overdrive bars full. Once we get to Riku's 4th mix overdrive, we are going to finally put up Hyper Mighty G, and this one is actually going to be optional since we don't really need any of Hyper Mighty G's effects. It's pretty much just going to put Auto Life on us, which is a good backup, but we intend to beat this entire fight without actually dying. And the other bonus effect is having Shell on everyone, which is a good backup in case one of the arms actually gets a Mega Graviton in. But once again, as long as you're keeping up with dealing with the arms before they get attacks in, you shouldn't have to worry about this. So this step is going to be optional, but just throw it in anyways as a backup. Once again, a Hyper Mighty G is going to be a Gambler Spirit with one of the curtain items. In this case, it's going to be a Lunar Curtain. So make sure you mix those two and throw this one up. And that should actually do it for all of Riku's overdrives / mixes that we need for this fight. Once again, we intend on beating this fight without the intention of dying, so we can pretty much stop using Riku's mix overdrives at this point, which will free her up to also being another attacker, so we can use her for our Quick Hit Pinata strategy as well, which should keep the arms at bay. That being said, we do need her for one more specific thing, which we'll cover later on when it comes up, but for now, just make sure you use her as another attacker at this point, and make sure you don't really use her overdrives, since nothing of her mixes are going to be of value to us. She's just better off as another quick hitter in this situation. So we're just going to keep up our offense, making sure we prioritize taking out the arms, and whenever we have free attacks, we're going to use those to target the body, since it's the body that is going to be the main boss fight, because it's the one thing that doesn't regenerate. We are going to keep this up, and you might notice using all of these quick hits, our MP is going to start running pretty low. So the last Riku-specific thing you have to do with her is to make sure you use 3 stars in everyone. And what this item is going to do is it's going to put no MP cost on every single character for the duration of their life. So basically until they die. It's going to be a use item, so just go down to special, use 3 stars, and this will pretty much give us infinite MP for the rest of the fight, since once again, we have no intentions of having any characters die. And that should free up everyone to go on the offensive. So remember to keep up our strategy. Make sure you prioritize the arms once again. Make sure you attack the body only when it's safe to do so. And make sure you use your overdrives at the ends of your attack rotations. And that's pretty much going to do it, at least for the first half of the fight. So just keep this up. Once again, the fight is very long since Penance has a ton of HP. Once you kept up the strategy to the point where you have done 3 million HP worth of damage to Penance's total of 12 million, he is going to shed his shell, and you are going to start the second phase of the fight. So you're going to get this little cutscene where he's going to change forms just by molting his shell, and what he's going to do now is he's going to change up his attack strategy, so we also have to change up our attack strategy. The most important thing is to make sure you have Ultra Null All on everyone before you get into this phase of the fight. Very, very important. The reason for that is he has an attack that will kill us unless we have that active. Alright, very first thing you do once you get your first Riku turn in this phase. You want to make sure you go down to special and you want to use another use item. This is where those purifying salts are going to come in handy. Make sure you hit him with the purifying salt. This is going to dispel him of any armor buffs, so this should allow us to do more damage to him with our overdrives. Once he gets his attack rotation, he is going to use Immolation. This move will mess you up unless you have all those prerequisites I laid out in the first phase. So as you can see, it's going to do a ton of damage to whoever it hits. It's also going to drain them of all of their MP. So definitely by now, you want to make sure you have Ultra Null All and 3 stars in everyone. The reason for that is this thing is going to kill you unless you have 5 times cheer, defense plus 20, and auto protect. Besides that, it's going to drain us of all of our MP, which is going to be ignored thanks to our 3 stars. It's also going to put massive delay on you, which is ignored thanks to our auto haste, thanks to our armor. And the last thing it's going to do to us is it's going to put full break on us. So the very first thing you want to do once you get to your attack rotation immediately after an immolation is you want to make sure you cast Dispel on that person who got hit by it. And the reason for that is if you go into the next attack rotation without dispelling all of those breaks and he re-hits you with immolation, you are going to end up dying, which means you're going to end up losing all of those buffs. And it's very time consuming in order to rebuff anyone on your team. So you want to make sure you remove any debuffs whenever possible and as soon as possible. With that being said, the upsides to this phase of the fight is Immolation can only hit one person at a time, and it's also susceptible to a counterattack. So if it happens to hit Titus or Waka, thanks to their celestial weapons, it is always going to be counterattacked, so you are able to land a hit in without wasting one of your turns. That being said, he only has one other move that you have to worry about, which is going to be Judgment Day. Judgment Day can only be used if he gets an attack with both arms out, and that's all the more reason to always prioritize the arms whenever they're out. So as long as you have at least one arm completely off the field at all times, this move is going to be completely avoidable. So that pretty much means in this phase of the fight, he has no way of potentially killing your entire team. Therefore, you can never lose the fight at this point. As long as you keep up this strategy, and as long as you don't make any mistakes, and you keep up with casting Dispel on whoever just got Immolation hit on them. Another note to keep in mind here is Immolation is not going to do enough damage to fill up an entire overdrive bar like Obliteration did, so you definitely don't want to have an over-reliance on your overdrives in dealing with the arms. Definitely keep up the quick hit strategy and you should still be safe Overdrives at this point are going to more or less help out with some residual damage in order to damage the body. For example, attack reels is a really good way of landing some hits on the body while also dealing with the arms. But also, since Riku is completely freed up now, you can also have her as an attacker. The only attack opportunity that you're giving up is whoever is casting Dispel on the attack rotation after Immolation is hit. So from here on out, the fight is actually going to end up being pretty cookie cutter, so just keep up this strategy and keep your head in the game for the next 45 minutes to hour and a half, or however long you have to deal with this guy's massive health bar. So just make sure you don't lose focus, make sure you are always casting Dispel on the right person, make sure you keep an eye on that status condition, use it on the person with all of the break conditions, don't accidentally use it on a missed target, and you should be good for the rest of the fight. So, after persevering and keeping up with this strategy through his massive 12 million HP health bar, he should explode in a fiery explosion of super special awesomeness, and our achievement is finally ours. There it is, 35 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.